Arthur, the headlines have already been written regardless of whether you feel that way, but was that a 5-star performance from your side?
Not 5-star, but yeah, very pleased with the performance. That's for sure. Great result, but performance that followed as well, and that's the most important thing. That the result is the result. The performance took care of the result, and that's the most pleasing part.
Obviously, Nikos, he gets himself a hat-trick. He's now got 5 in a fortnight. A fortnight ago, we were all asking you about poor form. Now he can't stop scoring. Just how do you reflect on this turnaround in form for him?
Yeah, I think it's just a result of hard work. That's all it is. He hasn't changed his attitude. He hasn't changed his application. Hasn't changed his work ethic, and he just turns up every day and does what he needs to do as a professional footballer. And I've always been confident that things will turn. It's only a matter of time, and that's football for you, isn't it? 1 minute it could be down in the dumps, the next minute you could be on cloud 9, and that's it's great for Nico. More importantly, it's great for the team.
Did you sort of feel like, his revival has sort of almost coincided with the team's revival as well? You've now won your last 3. Is there a correlation there, do you think?
Look, the team's improving every week, and that's important for us because we've got a high ceiling, and we need to keep improving to be the best version of ourselves. And today was another step forward. We're not where we need to be yet. We're still improving. We still got a lot of room for growth. And the important thing is that each week we get better and better, and that's the most important thing. And individuals, week to week, they got to get better as well, because when they're the best version of themselves, then this team is always stronger. So maybe it's correlation with that, but for me, it's just belief in the group, work ethic in the group, and just sticking to what we need to do, sticking to the process and continuing.
As Joey just touched on, we're asking about Nikos only a couple of weeks ago, but we're also asking about the team at a similar stage. And you were quite consistent with the messaging that you were confident that things could turn around. Now, 4 games overall unbeaten. You must be really proud of how things have turned around quite quickly. Yeah,
I'm pleased. I'm not pleased that we're still in a minus in terms of goal difference. So, these are things that we pride ourselves on. Even the goal we concede tonight I don't like it. It's not a good goal to concede, but we did, and it's part of the game. And the important thing was the reaction, and that's always important, that you react. And then once we took the lead again, the message was clear at half time. We've got to keep going. We can't stop, because they're a good side, and if you give them the opportunity, they've got a constant threat up front. He's a very good player. If you give them an opportunity, you give them oxygen, they can make things difficult for you. So it was important that we scored the next goal and then went on with it, and that's the thing I'm most proud about tonight.
Just wanted to ask you about Nish. You got on the assist tonight, just with him slowly coming back up to full fitness. How have you been kind of rating his return to the team so far?
Yeah, he's still not the Nish we know he can be, that's for sure. He's still finding his feet to get his rhythm, because he was out a long time, and it's important during this process that we manage his loads as well, and that's why tonight I probably took him off earlier than I would normally, because there's a short turnaround in matches. So we have to take care of his health and well-being first and foremost. So, but yeah, the fact that he gets an assist is fantastic. Joshy Rawlins was excellent tonight. He's assisted as well. And look, there was a lot of good players out there tonight, and for many periods of that game, we showed excellent discipline and mentality. Maybe apart from a 10-15 minute window in that first half where I think we just switched off a little. But apart from that, the mentality was excellent.
Only a few weeks ago, you're on the bottom of the ladder. Now you're in the top 6 heading into the new year. What's the feeling like amongst it? Does it feel like that you're heading into the new year with just all this momentum and ready to give it a real shake in the second half of the season?
Yeah, it's a great way to finish off the year, that's for sure. There's a lot of work ahead of us still, because we're still not where we want to be, that's for sure. We're in a better place than we were a month ago, and in a month's time we want to be in a better place again, and that's the work we have to do every day to make sure we get there. We've got to keep looking at the top, because Auckland's still too far ahead for us, and we've got to keep closing the gap. That's important, but it's step by step, day by day, and game by game, and more performances like that will give us more chance to get closer.
I think same starting 11 for 3 straight games now. You might have to change that this week, short turnaround, playing in the heat, but do you feel like now, after a couple of months into the season, you've sort of found the right mix and you've sort of found the right combinations that you want to build on?
Not necessarily. For me, it's about each week picking a team based on health and fitness first and foremost, then obviously how the team's playing, and then obviously taking into consideration the opponent as well. So although it's a quick turnaround on Friday, we still lose 2 players to the Ollie Roos. So there's force changes there already, and then we'll see how everyone recovers. But, we've got squad depth now, which we didn't have at the start of the season. For that first month, we had sometimes up to 8 players missing. And it was important for the players that stepped in during that time to do a job and to lay the platform and the foundations for us. And we gave a lot of minutes to a lot of young players as well. Now that close to everyone's fit and healthy, it's a great headache to have. Competition for places, and now the squad depth's where we want it to be and where we know it can be. And that's important moving forward, because you need that depth so they push each other every day. When you look over your shoulder and you see quality players on the bench or not in the squad, then you definitely know that you've got to do your job, and that's important for us.
Just on the turnaround, you've mentioned it a bit there, but it is such a short period. We are in the New Year's period as well. Can you give an insight into what the next couple of days are going to look like and how the preparation might or might not have to change because of this short period?
Now it's all about recovery. It's the most important thing. They'll get tomorrow off. They're in there now doing a recovery as well. So they're not going home just yet. They don't have an early mark. They've got to do their recovery. They'll have tomorrow off, and then we've got a 2-day lead-in. The first day is about making sure that the bodies are moving again and everyone's fit and healthy and has come away unscathed. And then there's one session before the match where you start to work on what you need to work on for the opponent and for the upcoming match. So the most important thing is recovery and making sure we get them fresh and ready for Friday night, because it's going to be a very tough match.
As you mentioned, losing a couple of players to Ollie Rouge duty. We've seen elsewhere in the A-League some players weren't released from their clubs, and you're losing important players. You would have been within your rights to say, no, we don't want to lose them. Why did you release them?
In the end, we've got an obligation here as a club to provide a platform for players to play well for Melbourne Victory that gets them international teams or to overseas. And, we can't stop players representing their country. I know it's outside of FIFA window, but for us it's important that players that get recognised and want to be representing their countries, we can't stop that. And it's important that, yes, we lose players and it's a hole we have to fill, absolutely, but that's why you got squad depth. And if we don't let our players go, then what message is that sending players that want to come to Melbourne Victory in the future?
And given the nature of his role, he doesn't tend to get a lot of credits, but talking of correlation, Louis Dorigo comes back into the side, and all of a sudden you start putting together these performances and getting these results. Just how important has Louis been to this run of form? Yeah,
Louis is still building. He was out a long time, and he's not where he was prior to the injury. He's still getting there, so he's got a lot of growth still in him, a lot of improvement to go. But yeah, he's a great player. He's very important to our team, and he's someone that each week will get better and better, and the team will get stronger and stronger for that. And it's good to see him back, because it was an unfortunate injury that he had right at the end of pre-season, and at the end he's now in a place where we want him to be, and he's still got a lot of improvement in front of him.
What do you make of your upcoming opponent? They were pretty impressive last night at this venue against City.
Yeah, they're a good side. I mean, on paper, I think they're one of the best squads in the league. They've got serious depth as well, so they're a team that we won't take lightly, that's for sure. They're a team that's had a good run of form, and we've got to be ready for that. And it's the first game of the new year. We want to get off to a great start. We finished the year off strong, and we want to start the year strong.
Any injuries to report from tonight? Or?
No, at this stage I think everyone's unscathed. It would just be, I think, fatigue and soreness. But yeah, tomorrow they'll have the day off, like I said, and when they come back, we'll get a clearer picture. But I can't see any injuries after tonight unless something pops up unexpectedly.
Cool. Everyone.
Thank you.